Chapter 2. The Prince Who Dreamed of Dust. Years passed, and the boy born of a dream grew into a young man of quiet strength and watching eyes. In the palace of Kapilavastu, where shadows were swept away before they could fall, Siddhartha walked through gardens where flowers never wilted and fountains never ceased to sing. His days were measured in music, and his nights in silk. Yet behind his composed smile, a stillness stirred, not dissatisfaction, but a whisper, something unnamed. To shield him further from the world, King Suddhodana arranged a marriage. Yasodhara was her name, daughter of a noble clan, and a woman as graceful as the moonlight under which they wed. She was quiet like him, thoughtful, her beauty not loud but lingering. There was no grand declaration between them, no raging passion. Instead, there was silence that felt like knowing. He watched her speak to birds. She watched him speak through silence. They became companions in a life that was never meant to ask questions. In time, a child was born, a son. They named him Rahula, meaning fetter, though no one spoke the meaning aloud. The palace rejoiced. But Siddhartha, he looked at the infant's fingers, curled around his thumb, and felt something tighten in his chest. Love? Certainly, but also something else. The sense of a bond, like silk thread tied gently around the soul. Beautiful, but binding. The walls of the palace stood tall, but inside Siddhartha, the world had already cracked open. One evening he asked his charioteer Channa to take him beyond the gates. A simple request, spoken softly. But it was the breath of a storm that had waited years to arrive. That night, Siddhartha saw what the palace had hidden. An old man, his back bent like a broken branch. "What is this?" he asked, his voice trembling more than his body. "This, my prince," Channa replied, "is what time does to all." They rode further, and saw a man gripped by illness, pale and writhing. Siddhartha's brows furrowed. "This is suffering," said Channa quietly. Then, a dead body, being carried by silent mourners. "And this?" Siddhartha asked, his voice barely a whisper now. "This," Channa said, "is what comes to all who are born." At last, they saw a fourth man, a wandering ascetic, cloaked in rags but glowing with peace, seated beneath a tree, like it was his home, and the stars were his roof. "Who is he?" Siddhartha asked. "One who seeks freedom, my prince," Channa answered, "from all you have just seen." That night, Siddhartha returned to the palace, but the palace no longer held him. He gazed upon Yasodhara as she slept, peaceful and dreaming. He looked at Rahula, the tiny chest rising and falling, and so, barefoot, in the hush of night, Siddhartha stepped into the forest. The prince who had everything left it all behind, not for suffering, but to understand it. Not to run from the world, but to meet it, as it is.